This guy says, I have no problem escalating on girls I meet during nightlife. When it comes time to dates, I have trouble escalating. What are your attitudes and methods to escalate when you escalate on dates? Also, what are some good behaviors and conversational threads to use in order to build better connection with girls? Finally, how would you go about building value and escalating on girls in the workplace? My apologies, it's not the right place to post questions. Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay. Okay, so there's a lot of these questions about escalation and sort of like what's the right escalation level, what's the right idea, that kind of stuff. And basically, I would give two answers for this. One answer is the general model answer of all forms of escalation, which is that rather than trying to be perfect, rather than trying to have like the exact escalation for the moment, I think it's better to adopt an escalation methodology that works for all moments. And by that, what I mean is, instead of being like, what is the exact level of escalation she's ready for, and then I'll go for it. Instead, think, what's the minimum level of escalation I can possibly do, and then just do it. And then if she's receptive to that, then you can go ahead and escalate more. If she's not receptive to that, then you back off and, come back to it later. So for example, if instead of like you're talking to a girl, she's like, oh, maybe she likes me, I'll kiss her. Instead of that, I think, oh, maybe the girl likes me a little bit. Maybe I'll like brush my hand against her shoulder and see how she responds. And if she like shies away, you know that it wasn't very good. If she seems like pretty cool with it and even like, like happy, or even like maybe like once you get physical, she gets physical back with you, then you know that she's very receptive, and a lot of good things can happen from there, right? But the good thing about that small move is that you got the yes or no on something so small that it can't have possibly been rude or invasive, and it'll never be a deal breaker. And if you get the yes, you can progress to the next step, and the next step, and the next step very quickly. So you'll be up to kissing within, a few minutes, if not even within like 30 seconds anyway. But by doing it that way, you didn't take the risk. So it's that idea of, I call it invisible escalation, which is that you're constantly escalating, but each escalation individually is so small that it doesn't really register, okay? The second thing, which is going to be escalation topic, I'm going to show you guys a video for that. I'm going to share a video with you guys for that. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up right now. It's called The 4 Modes of Escalation, I believe. But let me pull it up. yeah. So basically, I'm going to show this video, but for those of you who are going to watch this recorded, it's called The 4 Modes of Escalation. I wonder. I'm going to share this as a response to this guy's question that already typed it, that already responded, that already wrote a question. This isn't actually a response to this question. It's just the only place I know to share this right now. So I'm going to send this to everybody. It's a YouTube link, but it's to the video 4 Modes of Escalation. So I just theoretically sent that link to all you guys. So that should be good and useful. Basically, what I talk about there is the idea that escalation is not just physical. Right, so many guys think escalation, they think physical, and the two are like inextricably intertwined. A lot of times there are ways to escalate the conversation, escalate the situation that are not physical, and usually those are the non-physical ones are actually the better option. Okay, so for example, you're in public in the daytime, and there's some intimacy. You could get physical with a girl, but that's weird. Like, people aren't doing that in public places in the daytime really so much. Even if you was your girlfriend, you wouldn't be doing that. So what do you do instead? Well, you can escalate the situation, i.e. move her to a more private place. That's a logistical escalation, right? Or what you can do is escalate verbally. There's 2 ways to escalate verbally. One is making the conversational topic more instant, more sexual, and the other is escalating the implication, meaning really the pronoun that you're using. So if you're using the pronoun I, talking about yourself, and you move the pronoun you, talking about her, that's a little bit more intimate. But the one you really want is the pronoun we. As soon as you start using the pronoun we and implying the idea of a relationship, that becomes a more intimate type of a situation. And the more you start using the word we in the conversation, she's accepting of it and goes along, keeps talking to you, the more she's accepted the idea of a relationship. And then once she starts saying we back, now you're in really good shape, right? So that's sort of escalating the implied relationship, right? So there's escalating physically, yes, escalating logistically, escalating verbally in terms of the sexual topic, and escalating verbally in terms of the pronoun, escalating the intimacy. And all 4 of those are valid forms of escalation. And physical, among those, early on in the set, physical is actually the least important one. So if you're super focused on physical, you're going to be escalating wrong almost by default. So those are the two things I will say so you're talking about escalating all these different situations, but one solution to that is escalate in a different way, right? Escalate through a different channel, one of the four channels that's not physical. And the other one is universally just escalate more slowly, right? And I don't mean escalate slowly in terms of don't escalate. I mean escalate in terms of make each escalation you do a softer escalation instead of like a hard, firm, like, oh my God, I'm going for it escalation. Make it this soft, like the escalation lands like a little friggin' fly on her shoulder she doesn't even know is there. Okay. Let's see. Next question. So this guy wants to know about the friend zone. He says tips on how to be exciting and keep the tension and not get in the friend zone. So the thing about the friend zone is that basically you have a total choice whether to get there or not, right? No girl can put you in the friend zone, period, okay? No girl can put you in the friend zone. You can put yourself in the friend zone, right? Or you can put yourself in the she's not going to like me and it's going to go to shit zone. But you can't put yourself, so basically, let me rephrase that last part because it's a little confusing. It only takes one person to make a sexual interaction, okay? If you decide that you're going to communicate with the girl in such a way that whenever like there's anything remotely sexual, you twist it in a sexual way. If you decide that you're going to get physical, if you decide you're going to hold eye contact too long, if you decide that you're going to, from the previous question, use the word we a lot when talking with the girl, if you decide you're going to do all those things, the girl can't really change those things. She doesn't really have a say in that matter. Now, she does have the say of walking away, right? She can walk away, right? She can leave, or she can tell you she doesn't want anything to do with you. But she can't tell you, I want to just be friends, because you clearly are not being friends. And even if she says, I want to just be friends, if you're acting not as a friend, it's not going to be a friendly relationship, right? Now, I'm not suggesting to be like a total creeper on all girls at all times, but what I'm saying is that she didn't put you in the friend zone. You put yourself in the friend zone by acting like a guy that is having a platonic or friendly interaction with her, right? If you're in the non-friend zone, you'll either become a lover of some kind or you'll become rejected, right? And so friend zone basically is created by playing too safely, right? If you're playing too safe, then, that's when you end up, oh, he's nice, he's sweet, I trust him, but I would never let him put his penis anywhere near me. It's because you conveyed yourself as the wrong type of guy, all right? You need to convey yourself as the right type of guy, which is the type of guy who is sexual in nature, who does take risks, who believes himself sex-worthy, who's willing to even be offensive from time to time, et cetera, et cetera. When you do those things, then you will not be put in the friend zone. And actually, I'll share a video with you guys on that one too. All right, let me find this. See if I can find it. Here we go. It's a very short video. But it's called How You Got in the Friend Zone or Why You Got in the Friend Zone and How to Get Out. I'll put it here again. I'll send that to everyone as well. All right, so I sent a second link to everyone there. So I would check that out. Probably good things to look at in general. And the idea of friend zone again is it's your choice to be there, right? And the first step in getting out of it is being willing to be in the two categories, because one category is lover, the other category is rejected. One category is no relationship. And so if you do want to get out of the friend zone with a girl, you have to be okay with that. And if you're not okay with that, stay in the friend zone, right? If you really, really do value the friendship, but I don't want to ruin the friendship, I want to sleep with her, but I don't want to ruin the friendship. Well, then if you really, really, really don't want to, if your desire not to ruin the friendship is greater than your desire to sleep with her, then just stay in the friend zone and go find other girls to sleep with. And that's totally fine as well. It's not like a beta thing. I mean, it's fine to have female friends, but it's fine to have attractive female friends. But if you truly want to sleep with her and don't want to be friends with her, then don't be in the friend zone. Be the guy that takes the risk to either sleep with her or be rejected. Okay. Let's see. Oops. Next question. Here we go. Okay. In day game in college, I can get a day 2, but often the issue is logistics as the girl has a class to get to or a meeting, so I have to end on a pleasant note. Then it becomes harder to get her to come out for day 3. How to resolve this? I've tried better meeting times for logistics. It sounds like you're not getting real day 2s. Right? I mean, if she's like you're meeting her at a time when she has to go to a class or a meeting, that means you're meeting her in like the middle of the day for your day twos and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, you said you've tried better day two times and stuff, but like try harder. Um, I mean, if you do a day two on a Saturday or Sunday, there's no classes or meetings. If you do a day two at 8 or 9 p.m., there's no classes or meetings, right? These things don't occur when you set things at the right time. And so if you can set things at those times, if you can't set things at those times on a consistent basis, it probably means you're not getting enough investment from the girl, and you're just getting like a pity day two or a friendly day two or something like that. You're not getting actual like investment and drive, right? Work on getting them to qualify yourself to do more, work on getting them to chase you a bit more, et cetera, et cetera. And the other thing you can do, which I actually do, is if I get a day two that's unworkable, I just don't take it. I don't take it, right? So if like I'm trying to schedule a day two with a girl and she's like, well, I only have I can do this, but I only have an hour except to go to this other thing. I'll be like, hey, it sounds like you're pretty busy that day. Let's just stay in touch and we'll hang out another day when we both actually have time for each other, right? And that's fine. And if anything, the funny thing is that a lot of times when you send something like that, the girl immediately becomes more interested in you because you're not clinging to, oh my God, I have to see her no matter what. It's that non-neediness, that willingness to just walk away. And all of a sudden she's like, I actually moved my thing. I have time now, right? And then she shows up and you have a proper day two. Because you're right. If you spend the time on a day two, and you start to escalate, you start to move things forward, it starts to get intimate, and then it can't go anywhere, then you end up in this weird like point of no return, where it's like she feels like if she's going to see you for day three, you're going to pick up right where you left off on day two, and it feels like it's a much more serious, and that there's a lot more like riding on it, a lot more on the line, and so that can be it can be something that prevents her from wanting to come out because she doesn't want that heavy weight on her shoulders. So what you're saying is completely valid. But what I'm saying is you say you've tried to schedule better day twos. I'm saying you haven't really tried, right? You haven't really tried because you're not willing to not take the bad day two, right? You're not willing to truly walk away and just have abundance and say, hey, listen, that's not the scenario I want. For me personally, if a girl's going to hang out with me and she has 2 hours or less, I pretty much don't want to take it for the most part. There may be some exceptions, like for example, if we're both leaving town and it's the only time we can see each other. And I think she's legitimately making an effort. It's not because she's not making an effort, just because literally that's the only time we have. In that case, I might do it. Just because the leaving town and being apart for so long is going to make it go cold. And so that's a bigger factor than the date that doesn't go anywhere. If I am on that date, by the way, that can't go anywhere, like that date that is destined to it's a non-pole date because there's no time and no logistics. I'll actually play the date very, very differently too. I won't work on escalating. I won't work on pushing it towards sex. I may not even kiss the girl. What I will work on is getting her to chase me hard. I'll work on building intrigue and making her chase me and just establishing myself as a super fun, super high value guy in a non-sexual way, because that's the thing that's going to make her actually come out for the day three, right? By the way, just quick plug, but it's a good plug. For those of you who are having trouble with dating, whether it be setting up the date or specifically, more importantly, for going on the dates, I have 2 programs. One is Text and Dates Machine, and the other is 3 Girls a Day. They're both on those titles. So it's textanddatesmachine.com or 3girlsaday.com. Spelled with the numeral. I believe it's number 3, 3girlsaday.com. By the way, for you guys, it would be number 3 this way because, that's how screens work, I think. In any case, 3girlsaday.com or textanddatesmachine.com. Text and Dates Machine is all about if you get numbers from day game or night game or whatever, following up with those numbers, getting them out on dates, and then making the dates pull home. And then 3 Girls a Day is all about online game, getting dates from online game and then successfully dating. Both of them have tons and tons of examples of text conversations, and they have tons of examples of actual dates recorded start to finish where I actually pull. And just so you guys know, my pull ratio from dates is like around 90%. Right? So if I get a girl on a date, basically she's coming home. That's what I teach in there is how to make that happen. And then also, of course, how to get more dates in the first place. So 2 really, really good programs to look into if you're having trouble with your follow-up game, and whether it's from online or from live. I will say the 3 Girls a Day, if you get the full expanded package with all the dates, has just a shit ton of infield and is an amazing program. But between the 2, if you were to only get one and you don't specifically do online, I'd go Text and Dates Machine. It's less expensive for the full package. It's a newer program. So it's a little bit more up to date. So between the two, that's probably the one I would lean towards. But they're both amazing, and actually, surprisingly, if you got both of them, they would complement each other rather than overlap too much. So I think you could even potentially get both if you do both areas.